Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are you? How are you? I'm so glad to see you all. Um, I'm here on our welcome to our um, Me Time Monday show. I'm so glad to see you all, and I'm really excited um, to see you all. I'm still doing some new stuff, still doing some new things, and I uh, hope and pray that everyone is had a blessed Sunday evening and now even more blessed Monday morning. Okay, so um, now I'm trying something new. I don't know if it's working out, but I'm trying it. Okay. So what I am trying to do today is use StreamYard to on my Facebook Live. Okay. That's what I'm trying to do. So um, I'm going to and I tag people today. So I hope that you all got my tags and everything. So what I'm doing now is I'm I'm just, making sure that you guys could see me on the, see me live on Facebook with the StreamYard. I'm not sure if that's happening right as yet, but I'll find out. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to just come out of this because I'm using more than one device. And so I'm streaming down now to just one device. Okay. Um, and I'm hoping that this works out. But anyway, but today I had some questions that I had put out there, and hopefully you got a chance to think about those questions and respond. Okay. Now, I am here. Um, just looking for you all, just to see if you all are there. I pray that you all are there. But anyway, what I'm going to do is um, I'm going to just so I can make sure I see you all um, on the chat. Um, if somebody could just write something in the chat so that I could see if you all are seeing me um, with the StreamYard live as opposed to not. Okay, if somebody could write something in there, and I'm going to see if I can see it. Okay, so I'm going to come all the way out and see what's happening. And if hopefully if it is, then that's wonderful. If it's not, then okay, we're going to keep on going anyway, because that just means I have to find another means of doing this. So let me see here now. All right, I see you all now. I see you. Well, I see. No, that's not. Yeah, that's what I see. Okay. Great. I do. I see you all. All right. Now we're all on the same page. Okay. So um it's working. I'm so excited. But okay, today we want to talk about our image of self. Okay. Um when we look in the mirror, when we think about who we are, what is our personal image of self? What is that? What is that? How would you describe yourself? Um, you know, for example, uh, if I had three words to describe myself right now, in three words, because that's tough for me. But in three words, let me see. I would say that I am Describing my personality, I would say that I am energetic, um, talkative, and love people. Okay. That's how I view myself. Okay. In 3 words. Now, I have a whole lot of other words I could use to describe myself, but when I'm thinking about it and limiting it myself to 3 words, those are the 3 words that I come up with. Okay. Um, what 3 words would you use to describe yourself, or um, an aspect of yourself, let's say? Okay, I use those 3 words to describe my personality. If I were to use 3 words to describe um, my physical self, my my body image, or what I look like, let's put it that way, I would say uh, tall, chocolate, and let me see, tall, chocolate, and tall, chocolate, and maybe stately. That's how I would describe myself physically. Stately. I'm tall, and there's a certain, way I carry my height, and I'm chocolate. So, if you didn't know what color chocolate is, that gives you an idea. um, and in those 3 words, I have told you, I've described myself. Um, and at the same time, you've gotten um, other information just from those 3 words about who I am. If I describe myself as chocolate colored, you know that I am a uh, highly pigmented sister. Okay. You, I say that I'm tall and stately. Um, you get the impression that, okay, she's tall, um, and noticeable. um, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But those are the 3 words that I would use off the top of my head to describe how I look. How I look. Okay. Um, see, personality, how you look, um, how I feel, maybe. Yeah, how I feel right now. If I wanted to describe the way I feel, or my emotional state, perhaps, I would say, let me see, happy, busy, and challenged. Um, those are the 3 words that I would use to describe my emotional state right now. Okay. Um, I'm having so much fun with these videos, once I get them out there. But doing these live videos, and meeting with my clients, and all the other things that I do, I keep myself pretty busy. And then challenged, because I'm learning as I'm going along, especially with all this technology. I'm, really, trying to move at a certain pace with regards to mastering these different technologies. But okay, enough about all of that. I wanted to just, get it across to you that when you um, think about your image of self, how many things come into play, as you're thinking about how you view yourself. Okay. And so um, there's a whole bunch of things that come to mind when you are thinking about how you would describe yourself. Um, but for the sake of time and everything, I, you know, asked you to think of 3 words to describe different aspects of yourself. Okay. But when you really sit down and you think about um, how you view yourself, you think about your self image, you have a lot to think about. But um, it's very important because it is our self image, our image of self that um, we use to describe our personal narrative. Our personal narrative is that story that we tell ourselves and that we may tell other people about who we are, uh, why we are, and how we are. Okay. So I wanted to talk today about self image so that we could really look into how we view ourselves because um, how we view ourselves affects directly how we feel about ourselves as well as how we interact with others besides ourselves, our family, our friends, others that we don't even know. And so having um, a positive self image affects all of those things. And so we want to get into that today. Okay. Um, don't forget to put in the chat the answers to the questions that I had put out in earlier today, a little bit earlier today, and then 3 words that describe yourself, and or aspects of yourself. Okay, because I'm interested in seeing what you say, and also it helps you to um, see what you're saying about yourself to others. Okay, okay, so that's what's going on there. So what is self-image? What really is that? I kind of jump right into it, um, and even asked you to respond or think about it and make a response, and I didn't say what it was, just in case. I mean, we all kind of have some idea of what self-image is, but we don't often think about ourselves like that for very long. And then to think about self image, I mean, what is that? But uh, let me share with you what self image is. Self image, I had read a couple of articles and everything, as well as looked at the dictionary to just try to, get a sense of what the general definition is. And so I'm going to share those with you, and then I'm going to give you what my definition is. Um, it's similar, but my definition is just simply the way I interpret it. What my view of self image is, as well as what the dictionary says it is. Okay. All right. The Wikipedia dictionary says that self-image refers to how we see ourselves both internally and externally. Okay. Then another dictionary said um, that it's this is a concept, and it's our personal, conceptual, and mental um, picture of ourselves. That's what another dictionary said. Um, and then it says how you perceive yourself. Another dictionary said. Um, so yeah, it's those things. It's those things. But when, like I said, it's a lot of different smaller factors that go into how we see ourselves. When we look at ourselves, what do we see? Um, Certain parts of ourselves stick out more than others, and what have you. But um, I've read another definition or description, which simply says that our self-image is it's an internal personal dictionary description of ourselves. I thought that was cute. I thought that kind of ties it all in, personal dictionary um, picture of ourselves. So if you had to look up Tahis, um, what word, and you had to look in the Tahis dictionary of Tahis, what would be some of the things that would be included in that dictionary as it describes Tahis. And so, uh, I like that one. Uh, but basically, to me, it is self image is a picture, our personal, mental, um, visual, emotional, and spiritual picture of ourselves. That's what it is to me. Okay. And so now that we kind of, have some idea or framework of what self image is, okay. If you haven't answered those questions that I had put out before, huh, now you can answer them. Okay. But, and so for me, we I wanted to include, because the dictionaries and the definitions that I had read, they gave a real quick definition of self-image, but um, I just felt that certain parts need to be fleshed out a little bit more. So because it talks about our self image, as if our self it I just felt that those definitions um spoke to whatever part of ourself that we choose to emphasize, um and we tend, as humans, we tend to emphasize that part of ourselves that we like the most, and we call that part ourself. So very often in our self-image, when we describe ourselves, um, or we want to, we describe ourselves based on that part of ourselves that we want to project or share with the world. Um, that part of ourselves that might be the favorite part of ourselves. But just because that might be the favorite part of ourselves, does not mean that's ourselves. That's only one aspect of ourselves. So, for example, um, uh, Okay. For example, someone who is a model, they are attractive, everyone likes to be around them, and everyone interacts with them based on that part of themselves that they put forth first, which is their visual self image. It's all about that look. They, we, the world finds them attractive. And so the world likes to interact with them um, just to look at them. We're not really interested in having too much conversation with a model. We just want to look at them. We like to see them dressed up, dressed down. We just like looking at them. They know that that is what they personally may consider as the best part of themselves, and or that's the part of themselves that they choose to portray and put forth first, their looks, because most people told them that they are attractive and that they find them attractive. So for a model, they're not going to come out of the house and go someplace public where a lot of people are going to look at them and not be looking their best. They put their physical and visual self first. So when they're not modeling, they may be somewhere working out and, making sure the body is, in tip top shape and, picture ready at all times. When they're not, modeling or out in public, they might be making sure that they eat right and, or that their skin regimen is whatever it is, so that their skin and their makeup and all of that is on point, or their hair and all that. They put forth their physical and visual self. That's what they put forth. That's what they project. That's why that's what we expect of them. And that's what we look forward when we see, a model. Okay. But they may have a whole different side of themselves that they haven't put forth, but it's still part of who they are. For example, um, um, a model. Okay, when we first saw Tyra Banks, we saw her as a model, Sports Illustrated model, very attractive. We were very entertained by her beauty and her pictures that she took, and she didn't talk a lot when she first came out. We just saw her pictures, and watched her model, and do runway. Um, and when she first came out, uh, that's all she was known for as a Sports Illustrated model. She was a top model. She modeled around the world. So we always expected to see pictures of her. That's it. But then she went further on in her career and started acting. I remember when, and I'm dating myself a little bit, when she um, debuted on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air show. Um, that was back a little bit, just a little bit, and she was one of the characters on the show. And she showed that she can act as well as model. Okay. Um, some of y'all may not have known that. She acted as well. And then a few more years down the line, She created America's Top Model. She was the face of that show, and she was one of the judges or what have you on that show, and everyone, everyone um, stopped and started watching that show, not only because Tyra Banks was on there and she's the model and we know her as that, but it was really interesting to see her as she um, as she, you know, developed this modeling competition, um, and she, went over what it takes to, be a model, and the different situations she would put these other models, up and coming models. She would put them in different situations and they would compete, and then, the judges would decide, and, one of the young ladies would come out being America's top model. And Tyra Banks herself said that, once she had created that show and, um, developed that show, she got a chance to be behind the camera as well as in front of the camera. And I believe she helped produce that show, or she produced that show, and it was a top show. She had everybody in America watching it. Little did people know or expect Tyra Banks, the model, Tyra Banks, to be able to pull something off like that. But obviously, she knew more about modeling than just stepping in front of a camera and making pretty pictures. And so it was great to see that from her. It was refreshing. But she probably always had that in her. But because we got introduced to her as a model first, that's all we saw her as, and so we kind of, dealt with her model self. We didn't know about her um, TV show producing self. And so, and then her career went on from there. Um, and so now we know her as Tyra Banks, not only the model, but TV producer. I believe she even has some product line out. I I'm not sure if it's makeup or wigs. I'm not sure, but I know that she's now looked at as a businesswoman as well, and she has product line out and different things like that. So, but I say all of that to say that uh, we as people, when we think of self, we think of the favorite parts or our um, strength, the areas of ourselves that we like or that we think most people like. So we tend to project that part of ourselves first. Um, and some of us emphasize and re-emphasize that part of ourselves. We nurture that part of ourselves and kind of leave the other parts of ourselves, you know, to by the wayside or something. We tend to play down those other parts of ourselves. Okay. Another example, trying to think of, what is his name? I can't think of his name now. Uh, anyway, the football player uh, that he was on Dancing with the Stars, and he used to when he was a football player, he would every time he made a touchdown, he used to do a little dance. Um, I can't think of his name right at this moment, but I think you all may know who I'm talking about. And he was an athlete. We first got to know him as a football player. I believe he was a quarterback even. And, we knew him as an athlete, star quarterback, very successful in that. And so that whenever we saw him, we expected that from him. You know, if he was talking, he was talking about football, but then when he appeared on Cruz is his last name. I can't think of his first name right now, but Cruz, football player Cruz. But then when he appeared on Dancing with the Stars, we all were very interested in seeing how successful he was going to be, because we think of him only as a football player, and he was athletic, yes, and he would, in his, while playing football, he knocks over people and, runs down the football field and catches and all of that. And so when he appeared on Dancing with the Stars, we all watched him to see, okay, dancing requires a different skill set, different way that you move your body. Uh, you know, can you do it? And we all watched, and he did very, very well on Dancing with the Stars. I believe he won. And then, also while he was on Dancing with the Stars, we got to see a lot of his personality. you know um he was personable and charming, and so we enjoyed watching him as he goes from week to week on Dancing with the Stars. And then after Dancing with the Stars, and he won that competition, then we started seeing him more in acting. So we started seeing him on TV shows, and I think commercials even. And so we didn't know that there was an actor inside of that football playing body. We didn't know that there was a dancer inside that football playing body. Because we got introduced to him as a football player, that's, his athleticism, he put that first, his athletic physical self. He put that first. He projected that. And so we only thought of him as, okay, that's a football player. What's a football player going to do dancing? Really? And then we found out football players can dance. And then that went on into, he now has an acting career as well. And so, those were different parts of himself that perhaps was always there. But because he projected or showed us that part of himself that he thought was the best part of himself at that time, that's all he showed us. Or because he projected that part of himself that he thought most people would accept or readily receive without challenge. That's all we saw, but then when he made some different moves and whatnot, then we got the chance to see, I think his name is, I want to say Ted Cruz, but I'm not sure. But anyway, he's a football player. If you know his name, put it in the chat so I can remember, because it's going to, keep on. I'm going to try to remember it, what his name is. And then, around midnight tonight, I'll go, oh, that's his name, that kind of thing. But anyway, I was, again, using the example that we tend to put, when we think of self and describing ourselves, we tend to put forth or emphasize certain parts of ourselves more than others when we need to um, consider our whole self, all of those aspects of ourselves, the parts that we really, really like, as opposed to the parts that we're like, we're not so excited about. Okay. And in nurturing ourselves, we need to nurture our entire self. Okay. But self image, again, is that mental, emotional, spiritual, and visual picture of ourselves that we all have. Okay. Um, so uh, that's that's that point. Okay, the next point I want to talk about is well, even though we have different aspects of ourselves, there are certain aspects of ourselves that we tend to focus more on than others. Okay. So I'm going to talk about that. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about where do we get our self image from? What, where do we get that from? How do we um, develop it? Uh, well, the first thing is that we um, come to know our sense of self, um, as well as we develop our self image um, from those that are around us, that's really close to us. We take aspects of what they say we are and how they say we are, and you know, uh, we consider it and then put our spin on how we see ourselves based on what others say about us. So, self image is learned. It is learned. Okay. We learn about self image first from our parents and uh, members of our household. Okay. Our parents are the first ones to tell us when we are toddlers. Okay. Um, you are, they tell us our name. Okay. And they teach us what our name is. Well, we don't come out knowing our name. They tell us our name. They teach us our name. I don't know if you um, make can recall uh, your parent writing out your name for you and teaching you how to spell your name or teaching you how to write your name. Okay, I I remember vaguely. Been a number of years, but I remember vaguely um, my mother teaching me how to say my name and how she emphasized to make sure people say your name correctly. Don't even answer if they mispronounce your name because that is not who you are. And I remember going to school, elementary school, particularly, and the teacher mispronouncing my name. If they did it in front of my mother was like, her name is Tyhees, Tyhees, and she would be real adamant about that. You know, don't just look at the spelling of the name and think you know how to pronounce it. If you need help, then I will pronounce it for you. My mother was real, like, real adamant about that. And so, and she taught me, don't even answer if they are mispronouncing your name. And so I remember I used to in school, um, teachers, some of the students would call me Teresa, Tallahassee. I don't even know where that came from. There's not even an A in my name, my first name. But I would often get called Teresa, Tallahassee, um, and then people started calling me uh, Ty, and for short, they shortened my name so that they didn't have to make a mistake and mispronounce the rest of the name. And I remember being a little girl, I wouldn't even respond to Ty because that was not my name. My name is Ty Heath. Um, and, some of my teachers, you know, why are you not responding? I'm calling you, I'm calling you. And I would have to tell them that is not my name. My name is Tahis. Please call me Tahis. And um, that's some things that I went through with my name. But um, you know, your parents teach you. Um, well, they teach you about who you are, um, and they teach you your name. Uh, they are the ones that lay the foundation for your self image. And then as you, um, mature and have more experiences and you interact with other people besides your parents, you begin to build on that self image foundation. Okay. And so, but parents, be mindful because, you know, we are our children's direct resource for their self image. And so we have to be mindful and careful of what we say to them about themselves, how we interact with them, so that they can develop healthy self image. Okay? Now, not only is self image uh, taught and learned from parents and by parents, but our siblings and the people in our household also play an intricate role in our self image. So if uh, mommy told you that, you were smart, you so smart, you're smart, you're mommy's smart little girl or smart little boy, you know, you thought about it, okay, I'm intelligent, I'm smart. But then your little brother or sister, you know, or big brother or sister, your sibling, called you stupid every day. You so dumb. You, you know, that also colored and affected your image of yourself. So mommy might have told you or dad might have told you you were smart, but then they would explain where you were smart or in what ways that they saw that you were smart. But then your sibling who will call you stupid or dumb every single day, you know, that you took that into consideration as well. Well, I'm smart when it comes to this, but my brother or sister tells me, I'm dumb when it comes to that. And so you put both of those opinions together and then think about, and put your own spin or your own interpretation on them, and you form your self-image based on those components. Okay. And so that's how that works. And then as you grow older, people, so it's not just mom, dad, your siblings, how then you start with outside your household, maybe your cousins or other family members, then your friends at school, your peers, and you are uh, about that you are. Goals to consider, and you can change self-image, uh, that person you their opinion of you. So, for instance, if you have a friend at elementary school, and uh, elementary school, don't necessarily show all of your all different sides. In elementary school, show that uh, help you think. It show competitive side with regards to academia, because school kind of puts you in a position you you know, we're doing those aspects of ourselves and um, we we uh, very um, we might you know we, we might be all of those things at school. Uh, People at school may not know that we drink or that we may not know that because depending on what kind of classroom settings you're in, those that side of your artistic side of you may not be displayed. You may not have a need to show or put forth that side of you. And so, the people at school, your elementary school friends, they may not know that you are artistically inclined. They might know that you're smart. They might know that you're even athletic a little bit in gym class, but because um, they, you may not have arts or music in your elementary school, they don't get to see that side of you. So they don't know that side of you. So when your peers at in elementary school, when they, try to describe who you are, they can only describe who you are to them in that setting. So they can describe who you are as a classmate. They may not know anything about who you are as an um, so as you get older, interact with other people, you take into consideration their opinions of you their views of you, and you incorporate that into your overall self-image. But keep in mind that those other people, they only see certain aspects of you, and that's the aspect of yourself you choose to share with them, or that is uh, those aspects that are required as you interact with those people. And so they only have or can speak on a certain aspect of yourself. They don't speak on the whole self because they don't know your whole self. They only know of yourself. But um, still, taking into consideration all of those different opinions and viewpoints of who we are, and we incorporate those into our self-image. Okay. Um, and so that's how self-image is developed. Okay. Now, so your self-image, your image of self is not etched in stone. It's not stagnant. It's not, okay, I form my self-image of myself by the time I was 16 years old, and that's it. That's how I view myself. That's it. You know. No, your self-image, your self is constantly changing and evolving. At least a healthy self-image is one that is constantly changing and evolving. Okay. Some people choose to only view themselves a certain way. They or only want to view certain aspects of themselves. And they don't look at the other aspects of themselves. That is not healthy. That is not healthy. Okay. Because you are the only one in this skin, you have to look at all aspects of your self-image, which reflects all aspects of yourself. Okay. Now, it's important to get to know yourself so that you can have a more accurate self-image. Okay. But some people, don't take the time out to get to know themselves for themselves. They rely very much on what others say about you. And the unfortunate thing about that is you might be in a setting for a long period of time or short period of time where those people that you were interacting with, you might have thought that they liked you. You might have thought that they were being honest with you with regards to how they view you. But a lot of times, people are not honest, or people can become very judgmental. And it's their judgment that of you that will color or frame the way they view you, what they choose to interact with you. Okay, so relying on solely the opinion of others, you likely will have inaccurate view of yourself, distorted view of yourself. And so you look at the thing of beautiful things, like I said, a healthy self-image, one, going, and as you go through different milestones in life, okay, as you get older. Um, so it's important to, get a habit to finish up, okay? Just accurate. As able as so when you and we and the now we're back. Okay, so created but over time uh, different experiences how uh, you know, um, our um, we we and oh, That's definitely including other You have